All right.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked because I think that's actually great that we have these things recorded. We can start making a library of the events that we've had.
So you do full stack, Jacob, and I see that you're from the US, right?
Yeah, I'm Texas, so I have my cowboy hat. It's hot outside, cows in the backyard. I'm joking, we don't have cows, but yeah, I'm from Texas.
Nice, nice, cool. I've never been to Texas. I've been to California, but yeah, never got the chance to go to Texas.
Yeah, I would say it's like California, but just the weather's hotter. That's about it. Yeah, I mean, it's the land is cheaper in Texas than it is in California, so that's that's a nice
Yeah,
thing.
I heard.
So for all the visitors, we're just waiting about 5 more minutes until everyone's had a chance to join, and then we'll get into the presentations.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we can go ahead and get started. Thanks for waiting, everyone. Sorry we had to start later than normal. So to be honest, the chairman hasn't arrived yet. So if you want, I could just start and I could introduce our cybersecurity expert, and then I'll hand it over to you, and then you can go into your presentation. I'm not really exactly sure what Emma had in mind. Did you have any particular points?
Pertaining to cybersecurity stuff.
I'm sorry. I mean, like, is there anything particular about the presentation that we
Yeah,
should
I
account
mean, like, I'm gonna be diving into like the basics of cybersecurity. Then I'm gonna focus on the specific part, which is social engineering, and then I'm also gonna have a fun bit where I go into my Kali Linux and show the dangers of sharing pictures with people that you don't know.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, I'd love that. Okay. Well, everyone, please give your attention to Elab. Can you help me say your name?
Yes. So I'm titled here as the Muslim hacker, but you can just call me Freddy. That's
Okay.
fine.
All right. So if you wanted to like trim the recording, I would start it at this point.
Yeah, just give me 1 second here. Um, just trying to pull up my presentation. All right, so let me go ahead and share this. And before I do that, let me go ahead and also do this. All right, perfect. So, all right, so let me go ahead and share my screen with you all so I can. All right, so it looks like, okay, perfect.
Oh, my bad. Let me close this.
No problem. All right, perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and enter the presenting mode here. Or I guess we're gonna have to do it this way because it doesn't, I guess it doesn't work with Google. It doesn't want to enter the full mode. So anyways, all right. So can everybody see the presentation?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
And
All right.
yeah, what you did is great, making that minimized. It's easier to see.
Yeah, perfect. No problem. Alrighty. So before we get into the presentation itself, just want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. As I mentioned in the beginning, my name is Farkan or Freddy or the Muslim hacker, whatever you want to call me. I have a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity and networking, and I do have a professional work experience of 3 to 4 years. Um, I'm currently pursuing, multiple educations in cybersecurity, and I'm trying to get a certification in cybersecurity. So when it comes to cybersecurity, right, it is a critical topic in our. Um, sorry, give me 1 second. I am so sorry about this. I just had a little bit of a difficulty here. Give me 1 second. All right. So, as I was saying, cybersecurity is a critical topic, right? In our ever-connected world, in simple terms, what is cybersecurity, right? So cybersecurity is the practice of protecting our digital devices, networks, and sensitive data from unauthorized access, theft, or damage. Whether you realize it or not, right? Every day, you actually interact with cybersecurity. So from logging into your email accounts, making online purchases, or even accessing secure work systems. Cybersecurity plays a vital role in keeping these activities safe. So um, why is it so important, right? So why is the cybersecurity so important? Why is it a hot topic? Everybody's talking about it. Like, what's the fuss about it, right? So as more of our personal, financial, and even professional information moves online, the risks of cyber attacks, data breaches, and fraud continue to grow. Without the strong cybersecurity practices, both individuals and businesses are vulnerable to threats that could lead to stolen identities, financial loss, or massive data leaks. Um, and so, one of the most prominent threats and attacks to be used against people specifically on day-to-day basis is actually social engineering, right? So before we get into our actual presentation here, I just wanted to define social engineering, right? So social engineering is essentially the art of manipulating people to give up confidential information such as login credentials, bank details, or personal data. Um, Social engineering attacks can be executed via phishing emails, fraudulent calls, or even in-person interactions. Unlike traditional cyber attacks, though, uh, you know, traditional cyber attacks, they target systems, but social engineering targets people. This makes it uniquely challenging for companies to defend against. So the question arises, can artificial intelligence or AI be leveraged to fight these human-centric cyber threats, right? So that's what we are gonna find out today in our presentation, right? So let's go ahead and begin here. Um, so, um, so social engineering, it comes in many forms, right? But phishing is by far, um, and I'm sorry about this. This is the slide right here. There we go. Alrighty. So social engineering comes in many forms, but phishing is by far the most common. In phishing, attackers impersonate a trusted entity to trick victims into clicking malicious links or sharing sensitive information. So let's say, Jacob here, he doesn't, so pretty much, let's say I'm his friend, right? And somebody impersonates me and emails or messages Jacob saying, "Hey Jacob, look, can you send me like $5 or $10?" And well, usually it's way worse than that, but and if Jacob falls for the trick, falls for the impersonation, and does end up sending the impersonator the $5. In that case, we would say that Jacob got phished, right? And also there is a type of social engineering called spear phishing. Which is a more targeted version where attackers personalize the messages for specific individuals or organizations. Um, so other methods include baiting, where attackers lure victims with promises of free items. So let's say, somebody calls you. I personally got this type of call before when I was in the US. I got a call saying, look, if you pay for the shipping, we'll ship you a $200 gift card, which is a scam, and obviously don't fall for it. Um, So, and also phishing actually kind of ties into the example that I was just giving just a second ago, which is the phone version of phishing, right? So people call you and they try to talk you into giving up sensitive information. And also we have pretexting, where attackers invent a fabricated scenario to gain access to information, right? So they'll just make up some kind of a story that, hey, I am this guy, I am like, I don't have any money, can you send me some money or whatever, whatever the story is, they might be able to make it up. In some scenarios it could be real, but in a lot of the scenarios that um, I have come across, they are fake. Um, so the inherent challenge in all of these forms is the human element, right? Because we as people, we tend to trust others, and attackers, knowing that, exploit that trust. Um, Given this, traditional defenses like firewalls or antivirus software often fall short. But this is where AI steps in, right? Offering new ways to counter these manipulative tactics. So how how can AI, or how AI can detect phishing attacks, right? Um, well, one of the primary ways AI can combat social engineering is through phishing detection, right? So AI-driven systems can analyze emails in real time using machine learning algorithms to detect patterns that are indicative of phishing. For example, an AI can scan for unusual grammatical patterns, suspicious URLs, or impersonation patterns. These algorithms can also be trained on large data sets of previous phishing emails to predict future attacks. Beyond the content of the email, AI can also analyze the user behavior, right? So if a user suddenly receives an email from the unknown sender with a subject line that deviates from their usual communication patterns, the AI can flag it for further scrutiny, right? So for further analysis of that email. And not to forget to mention this, but this goes beyond just the simple spam filters, right? So AI systems evolve and learn from every new attack they encounter, and making them more effective over time. So now I have a little bit of a fun bit for you all. I personally don't like just talk. You know what I mean? And I hope that I hope that the chat can participate in this challenge. And if you're not able to talk, that's fine. Just leave your answers in the chat. So this is the challenge, right? So this is a phishing email, right? Can you spot and leave either in the chat or say it out loud some of the issues that you see with this email, right? So I'll give you some time to answer that, and while I'm waiting for you all. Yep, real, not real. Okay, that's one. Anybody else? Anybody from the students here that go ahead, Joshua. Go ahead, open. I think it's. Oh no, never mind. That's just me. I think Joshua raised his hand. Can somebody let him in the queue? whoever is in charge of the
Yeah,
present.
Joshua, I think you should be able to just unmute yourself. Feel free to press the microphone button and join the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, like if nobody answers in like the next 1 minute, that's fine. I can just go ahead and go over the issues with this email. That's totally fine. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and go over some of the issues with this email here. So as you can see from the email, just like Jacob pointed out, obviously the domain of the bank is not, it's misspelled, right? It's misspelled intentionally here to throw off the people that receive the email, right? Because if you just quickly glance at it, it does look like it says a real bank. But if you look closely, it actually says a real bank, right? So it's not the actual bank. And as you can see from the subject here, urgent account suspension notice, immediate action required. So this is something that in cybersecurity is called scarcity. It is used to scare people or scare the victims of the attackers into the immediate actions, right? And then as you can see here, there's some misspellings in the email itself. Just like in the first line here, it says their or instead of dear. And it says dear valid customer. Usually, especially banks, they don't really talk like that. So that's also another thing to notice. Um, and so, and also, once again, if you just go down to the line where it says failure to verify your account within 24 hours, the 24 hours will result in permanent suspension. That also is the scarcity method, scaring the person to taking quick actions and clicking on the link. And as you can see right here, the link is a fake too. It's not a real link. And yeah, so these are the issues, and that is how a phishing email looks like, right? So that is something to be aware of, and those are some of the points to keep in mind while opening emails, right? So we can go ahead and actually move on, and so let's go ahead and move on to slide 7 here. So when it comes to spear phishing, and as I mentioned previously, spear phishing focuses on more specific um, on more specific targets, right? Um, it could be the CEOs, the CTOs of companies, right? Um, so spear phishing presents a greater challenge because when it comes to AI, right? Because these attacks are highly personalized. Attackers craft emails that appear highly credible, often including personal information about the target to gain their trust. AI can help here as well. So natural language processing, or NLP, allows AI systems to understand the context of these emails, not just their content. So the AI can analyze the language style and intent, identifying potential threats, um, even when they mimic legitimate communication patterns, right? So also, in addition to that, AI-driven threat intelligence, and threat intelligence, what it is it's pretty much the information that you have when it comes to threats, right? When it comes to attackers, when it comes to um, you know viruses, when it comes to exploits, right? So that is all together is called threat intelligence. So AI-driven threat intelligence platforms constantly aggregate and analyze data from ongoing attacks across the world, alerting users when there is a rise in spear phishing campaigns targeted at specific industries or individuals. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. But does anybody have questions so far? No? Okay, perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next slide here. So AI and social media scams, right? So social media, as you may already know, and you might have already experienced yourself, is a breeding ground for social engineering attacks. Scammers often create fake profiles to lure victims into providing personal information or money. AI can combat this by analyzing data from millions of profiles to detect patterns that are common to fake accounts. For instance, AI can look for things like unusually rapid or unusually fast friend requests, suspicious profile images, or abnormal posting behavior. Interesting enough, though, attackers actually also utilize AI to generate fake personas and even manipulate images using deepfakes, as you might already have seen. Um, so this, which is kind of funny because it creates this AI versus AI scenario where defenders and attackers are both relying on advanced algorithms to outsmart each other. So let's go ahead and move on here. Um, so AI and behavioral analysis for insider threats, right? So social engineering, right, doesn't always come from external attackers. Insider threats, employees or contractors misusing their access are another challenge. AI can help identify insider threats by analyzing behavior within an organization. So, for example, if an employee who typically accesses specific files suddenly starts downloading a large volume of sensitive data, AI systems can flag this unusual behavior. By using predictive analytics, AI can also identify employees who may be more susceptible to social engineering, such as those with weak security habits or those engaging in risky online behavior. Um, so when it comes to the limitation of AI in social engineering defense, right? Because we can't always we can't just think of AI as this always being there to help type of tool, right? So while AI offers many promising solutions, it's not a magic bullet, right? So social engineering relies heavily on emotional manipulation, and AI, despite its advances, still struggles to fully understand the emotional and psychological context of human interactions. So, if I, let's say, I don't know, I email you that, look, I'm keeping your family ransom, or, I'm keeping your computer ransom, or I'm keeping whatever ransom, right? So that actually emotionally pushes on you as a human being. However, AI doesn't have emotions, right? So it acts solely off of the information that it has been trained on, right? So it doesn't really understand the emotions. So AI can detect suspicious patterns or flag potentially harmful interactions, but it cannot fully replace human intuition and judgment. And also, as I was mentioning in the beginning of this slide, over reliance on AI systems can lead to complacency. So, where users believe the AI will catch everything, but that's not the case, right? Because human vigilance is still a critical component in stopping social engineering attacks. So let's move on here. And I hope you all are appreciating my slide style here. I tried to make it into a little bit of a game so it doesn't look too boring. Um, so let's see. So combining, um, so combining AI and human intelligence. The most effective defense against social engineering, right? So after everything we have said so far, the limitations of social engineering, the limitations of AI and what social engineering is, and the human aspect of social engineering, right? So the most effective defense against social engineering is a combination of AI and human intelligence, right? So AI should be seen as a powerful tool that augments, or in other words, adds on to human capability. And it shouldn't be seen as a replacement for humans, right? For example, AI can flag potentially malicious emails, but employees must still be trained to recognize and report suspicious activity. Um, AI powered simulations um, are excellent way to enhance human awareness, right? So as I was mentioning previously, AI can be trained on a lot of data, right? So, and if we develop a specific program, an AI driven program that takes the previous social engineering attack examples, right, and generates new ones and just sends them out to the internal employees just to kind of see how they would respond, that would be a great training for those internal employees, right? So um, ultimately, it is a partnership between AI and humans that creates the strongest defense. And for the last slide of this presentation, but not the last slide of my talk, because I do still have a fun bit on my Kali Linux machine. Um, so let's see. So the question is, the answer to the question, can AI outthink social engineering, right? So that is the title to our presentation. And so what is the answer, right, to this question? So the answer is both yes and no, right? So as I, previously explained, AI is an invaluable tool in the fight against social engineering. It's capable of detecting patterns, analyzing behaviors, and even predicting potential attacks. But AI cannot fully understand the human emotions and psychology that social engineering often exploits. So the key lies in combining AI's efficiency with human intuition and training. As AI continues to evolve, it will play it will play an even greater role in social engineering defense. But as I said already, human awareness and vigilance will always be essential. So that is it for the presentation on my on social engineering and AI, and these are English. These are the resources that you can go ahead and check out, and these are the resources that were used for this presentation. So now I'm gonna go ahead and talk about something really cool, and something that I think a lot of you will find interesting. So I wanted to quickly demonstrate the dangers of sharing your pictures to the people that you don't know, right? Or even the people that you think that you know, or people that you think that you can trust. Uh, Pictures contain something that's called EXIF data, which stands for Exchangeable Image File Format. And what it is just some data that's embedded inside of your pictures that we will see in a little bit. And it can include information like camera settings, device details, date and time, and GPS coordinates, right? And let me go ahead and switch over to that. Okay. So how do I do this? Let me see. So let's see, present something else, and window, nope, entire screen. Uh, yeah, I guess we're gonna have to do that. So let me see. Let me go ahead and log in into my log in into my Kali first. Give me 1 second here. So, all right. So let me go ahead and share the entire screen here. All right, so we're gonna click on share, and all right, I don't think it can everybody see this? Can everybody see my Kali, or
Yes, we can. I can. Yes.
okay, perfect. Okay, amazing. All right, cool. Well, it's good that everybody can see my Kali, but my Kali doesn't want to work. So oh, never mind, it does. Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and log in here. So while it's loading, okay, so when it comes to what I'm going to show you right here, right, a lot of the oh god, a lot of the data that I mentioned in the beginning, the EXIF data, it actually gets stripped off by a lot of the social media, right? So you want, like, a lot of the social media will actually remove that data before taking in your pictures. However, some of the cloud platforms, like cloud computing platforms, they will actually keep that data and they will not remove it, right? So it will still be in your cloud. So let me go ahead and show you now. So so this is how easy it would be for me to, let's say, get your GPS location, right? So I just pretty much ran this command on this image, right? So this is the image, and I'm going to show you what the image is right now. So let me go ahead and open the documents here, exif open folder. Okay, so this is the image, right? So this is the image that was taken by somebody, and I think I have the link, and I'm going to show you the link, God willing, here. So as you saw, I just ran this command on this image, right? Exif tool, and this is pretty much just a tool to manipulate the metadata on pictures, right? You can use it to edit the metadata, to add some metadata, or delete metadata, and you can do a lot more with it. I'm not like very professional on this specific tool, but I know how to. I have an idea of how it works, right? So as you saw, I just ran this command exif tool on image.jpg, and as you can see right away, it gives me the GPS location, right? So it gives me the GPS location, which is scary, right? And then if we scroll up here, we can also see the software, right? So you can see Nikon, which is a camera. Is it a company? Or yeah, I don't know. I think it's a company. So it is camera company, from what I know. And then we also have the modification data, right? So when the picture was taken. So let's say you took this picture, right, on this date. Well, I mean, it's really it's really way back then, back in the dinosaur era, as a lot of you might say. But so let's say you took this picture at this data, at this date, sorry, and then you sent it to your friend, right? Or you sent it to somebody that you thought you could trust, right? And let's say they had like some malicious or otherwise known as bad intent for you as a person. And let's say they ran this command right on this image, and they got your GPS location, right? So we could go ahead and literally take this and just Google it essentially. And let's go ahead and do just that. Um, uh, it's not a math problem. Never mind. Sorry, it's taking a while to load, I think, because I'm presenting and I'm recording and the Kali is running, so like a lot of things happening at the same time. But yeah, you
No
can
worries.
yeah, you can take these coordinates and you can just paste them into Google as you just saw, and then it would give you the location where that picture was taken, right? And it is taking a while to load here, just purely because uh, of how loaded my computer is. But there's other things that you can actually do, right? So with this picture, let's say um, you took this picture and again you sent it to your friend, and again if that friend had a malicious intent for you, they could simply do a reverse search right on your on that picture, and unfortunately it doesn't look like anything is showing up here, probably because of the site looks a little bit too old. But essentially you get the idea. If you take those if you take the coordinates and you look them up in a good website that will actually show you where it's located, they could get your location. And then also, as I was mentioning, they could do a reverse image search on that image, right? So let's say I so pretty much, sorry about that. So as you saw right there, I clicked on the image icon that was right next to Google search, and then I uploaded that image right in here. And now it's just going to search, and there you go. I found the location where this picture was taken. And this is scary, right? Because I know where you are. So these are some of the dangers of sharing your personal information online, or your personal I mean, to be honest, any type of personal information, right? Like I see a lot of users, let's say on Facebook, right, like telling everybody like where they work, where they went to uni to, where they eat, where they breathe. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy like how people overshare their day-to-day life, right? So try not to do that. Try to cut down on that, and just be safe while you're out on the internet. And I think that is all that I have for you guys. I hope you'll enjoyed this, and I hope it was fun for you all, and I hope I wasn't too boring when it came to this presentation. And yeah, that is it from me, and I'll pass it over to whoever is next.
Yeah, thank you so much for that presentation. I really appreciate it. I'll let Emma take over now.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks so much, sir, for your presentation. So
Yeah, no,
I'm asking, hope you can hear me. Hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
So now, so much. I want to appreciate you for your time and effort that you used to prepare the presentation. I know it's not an easy task, but still, you still make.
No, it was a pleasure. Like I love learning and I love teaching what I learned. So that was really fun for me. Thank you so much for inviting me onto this onto this seminar. It was really fun.
Okay, sir. So, sir, I really want to speak. If you can recap on some of the steps you take on locating the image, someone location through the picture and the rest. Because most of us are new into cybersecurity. Yeah, like we don't actually know these steps. So we felt like maybe you are too fast. So, sir,
Oh, sorry
please.
about that. Yeah, no worries. Let me go ahead and recreate that then. Let me go ahead and that's totally fine. Sorry about that. This is actually my first time doing a presentation, so I am truly sorry about this. So let me go ahead and redo this here.
Okay,
Um,
sir.
so okay. So as you can see, we are on Google, right? So when you're on Google, there's this picture right here, search by image, right? So you click on that and then you click on upload file, right? And then you will upload the picture, right? So in our case, it's this picture. And then it will find this picture, right? So as you can see, the same picture can be seen
Yes.
on Facebook, can be seen on this evil.com, can be seen on this LinkedIn. It can be seen on a lot of places, right? And if we just, click on, let's go to this LinkedIn, right? Why not? Um, and Unfortunately, it doesn't tell me where it's located, but well, right here. Let's see. Let's say we go to the Trip Advisor, right? So, and then when we go to the Trip Advisor here, if it opens up, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, so as you can see, it does kind of mention where it is located here. If we just go through this, we'll be able to find where this specific location is located. Does that
All
help?
right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thanks.
perfect. No problem. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, sir. So, sir, can you explain to us like how can we identify some of this social engineering attack?
So, like when it comes to social engineering attacks, there are a lot of ways to identify these attacks, right? And some of the ways to identify them is through looking at this. So for example, at the sender, right? So let's say I don't know. So in the US, there is a bank called Bank of America, right? So, and as far as I remember, the domain for Bank of America is boa.com, right? So that is, and I posted it in the chat, right? So, and an attacker, they could intentionally misspell it to bao.com, right?
Yes.
And then that would be one of the ways to identify that this is a phishing or social engineering attempt, right? Another attempt would be another thing would be reading the subject lines, right? So if in the subject line, they're telling you, oh, you have to do it fast, or you have like 24 hours to do this, right? Or immediate actions needed. that would also be so that, yeah, like Joshua said, the urgency in call to action, or in cybersecurity we call it scarcity, right? To scare somebody into doing a specific action. And also another other ways is like looking at the email itself, which is which you can find some misspellings, right? As I was showing in the presentation, there could be some misspelled words, right? So instead of bank, they could instead of saying bank, instead of spelling bank, they could spell it like bank, you know. And obviously it could happen in real situations. However, it is really uncommon because a lot of the big companies, especially banks, they have pre-built, um, what do you call that? What's that word? I forgot. What's the word? I forgot the word, but they have like pre-written emails, right? Where they already have it structured professionally, and all they have to do is just bring them over and just send it, right? So they don't really have to like write anything special there. Yeah, I mean, those are just some of the ways. There are obviously like way more ways to identify, because sometimes um, there are emails, there are social engineering emails or calls, or even on social media attempts that look really real. And you just need to be like very vigilant when it comes to that type of stuff. And also another way that just came to my mind is, so let's say they send you a link, right? And if you just like take your mouse, right? So take your mouse and you just hover over that link, it will show you what the link actually goes to. So let's say they send you a link that looks like, bao.com, right? Whatever. You hover over it, and when you hover over it, it shows you that it takes you to something else, right? Or to something that's malicious, right? Something that you can see doesn't have a nice intent. So that would also be an indicator of a social engineering attempt.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice. So, uh, do we have to like use Kalinos to do some of this? So can we use Kalinos to do some of the social engineering attacks?
So Kali Linux is used for penetration testing. So for hacking, obviously, like don't do any of the illegal hacking. There
Yes,
are,
yes.
yeah,
No,
there are
no,
like
yeah, I'm just talking for example, like which tools like people use in
yeah.
doing it. So
When it comes to Kali Linux, there are like for hacking, right? There are tools. There are many tools, many tools that are used. I am not a professional when it comes to hacking. I have done a little bit of hacking. I've hacked into some machines like legally, not illegally. Okay, legally.
yeah.
So and if you want me, I can show you one tool that I think is actually one of the most widely used tools when it comes to hacking. And let me just close out of this, and I'm gonna. So one tool that's used, as you can see, is Mmap. So Mmap is a network mapper, right? So if we send this command to this IP address, and
Yes,
as you can see, we have dash p dash, it will
yes.
scan. It will scan every. Oh, sorry. It will scan every single port on that machine and tell you which one is open. So let's say this machine is a web server, right? It stores websites. It will tell you that, look, port 80 is open on this machine. And if you do more digging, and sometimes it actually does it automatically. It will give you the version and what the web server is running on, right? And then you can take that version and this the OS and the OS that sorry, the software that the web server is running on, you can do more investigation or more research on that specific software and that specific version. And if that version has any vulnerabilities that is already known and on the internet, most likely there is there's an already ready exploit for that vulnerability, right? And
Yes.
what people usually do, they take that already ready vulnerability and they would use it against the server, and that would be the end of it, right? And depending on what type of access this exploit gives you, the effect of this attack could range from minimal to all the way the system takeover, right? Because let's say if if the service account for the web server, right, the is running under the system permissions, right? That would definitely contribute to the system takeover, the server takeover.
So please,
Good evening.
good evening. Yeah, thank you. It was really entertaining. I mean, from your slide, making it look like a game, it was very interactive, and I really appreciate it. I've been able to, do the Google photo search before. I used it once. There was this website that I was able to use to, check also pictures. I think yandex.com, something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
so
Russian web search. Yeah.
yeah. So I was very I'm think I'm familiar with what you did, and it really interested me because this whole cybersecurity thing is out of should I say interest, or it seems fun for most of us who want to get into it. We feel like it's something that, for a young guy, it seems fun to get into.
Yeah.
So from your experience, which where do you think would be nice for beginners to get specified on?
Oh, like when it comes to cybersecurity?
Yes, I know that there's a lot of branches into it, pen testing, analysis, and a whole lot of it. So I don't know, what do you feel like is from your experience in this already? Where do you
So,
think is best for us to start from
mm, yeah,
in order
so
for us to grow fast? Thank
yes,
you.
so to be honest with you, like as I mentioned in the beginning of me being here, I have not worked in cybersecurity. I am actively trying to, God willing, work in cybersecurity. But when it comes to like where to start, for like the very beginners, like the ones who like don't know anything about Linux, the ones that don't know anything about networking, the basics of cybersecurity, I would definitely start with, and I'm gonna send it in the chat so you all can see it. I will definitely start with Linux and Windows, and then networking, and then basics of cybersecurity. So that would be the best place to start for those who are absolute beginners, right? And you can actually learn all of these skills on either the website called Hack the Box or the website called Try Hack Me. So either one of these websites, has good, they both have great information when it comes to cybersecurity. I personally use them both, and I actually really enjoy them. But yeah, but as far as the branches, to be honest with you, like it comes to your personal preference, right? I wanted to get into penetration testing first, but I realized that halfway through that, I realized that there are way more jobs in cyber defense, so in the blue side, in the blue side of cybersecurity, than in penetration testing, because obviously, um, there can be like one penetration tester that or one black hat hacker that does damage that will require, like, let's say 10 defenders, right, to defend against. And yeah, I mean, like there are way more cyber defense jobs than penetration testing. So uh I'm personally trying to get a job, God willing, in cyber defense. But again, it comes down to your preference. Some people don't even want to get technical when it comes to cybersecurity, and there is actually a field for that too. I believe it's called GRC, I believe. Yeah, I think it's called GRC. If you look up GRC Unix guy on YouTube, you will see that you will see the explanation of what it is. And essentially, it just has to do with working with like cybersecurity protocols, I believe, right? So, like you writing the protocols or helping the companies redefine their protocols. So you don't actually do anything technical. For those of you who like don't want to, work on the technical side of things.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Amazing answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you've clarified a very important thing for us, or for me personally, on what I should look forward to. Thank you also for the websites. I will be checking them and getting ready to continue my journey. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much,
No
sir.
problem.
So is there any other person with any question? about
Yeah, good
cybersecurity?
evening, everybody.
Yeah, no, that was me, John. I came first before you.
Okay. Okay.
Fine, go first. Go first.
You can go on.
Okay. Good day, everyone. To the presenter. I'm just curious. I've been listening to everyone's input and your presentation. I'm just someone who's very much curious about cybersecurity, and I'll just ask you a basic question, that in terms of on the DevOps side, and when you're deploying your application or your website or whatever it is that you're deploying to the cloud, or whether you're using a container or whatever, in your retrospect, what are the basic things or the most important things that will really create something like a secure pipeline, so that your application is, I'd say, at least somewhat safe? Because ultimately it can never be 100% safe, because hackers are a few steps ahead. But like, what are these basic things that are really important that a DevOps engineer or a DevSecOps engineer should really put into consideration when deploying the application or website, whatever?
Yeah, so when it comes to that, I'm gonna be completely honest, like that is out of the field of my knowledge. But when it comes to like having this secure communication, obviously encryption is a big thing, right? So end-to-end encryption, that is something that would help to keep the hackers off the wires, and making sure that they're not able to intercept the data. But as far as like the DevSecOps go, yeah, that's outside of my knowledge realm.
Yeah, no, I was asking in terms of seeing that you do have some hacking expertise. So when you attack a website or an application or whatever it is that's in the cloud,
Right.
what are these vulnerabilities that you're looking for to gain access?
Oh, like what is the vulnerabilities that I'm looking for? Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
so that I create those basic defenses and stuff.
yeah, I mean, like usually, like it depends on what services are running on the specific machine, right? So it could be, as I was mentioning, could be running a web server, and if it's running an outdated version of the web server or a version of the web server that is known to have a vulnerability and proof of concept ready to be used to exploit the machine. So the proof of concept is it's a chunk of code that is an automated exploit for that specific vulnerability, right? So you know, obviously, with that being said, keeping your machines patched and making sure that they're up to date is a big thing. Obviously, you know, when it comes to users, right? So that's also another big thing that hackers hunt for is users. Making sure that you know users use complex passwords and your password policies are you know, also complex, and making sure that also you use multi-factor authentication, right? So let's say in some of the companies that I worked for, usually, you know, I would log in with my password and then you know I would get a notification right with the notification on my phone with a number with a pin number right that I would then have to enter to actually be able to access the machine. So that is also a big thing, right? So let's say if even if the user you know on your in your company is using the password like password 01, you know, even if that is the case, you know, they would still be able to be somewhat relatively safe if the multi-factor authentication is enabled. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it actually does. It actually does.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Thank you. You can go ahead, John.
All my worries have been answered already. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. Amazing.
All right, sir. Hello, Mr. Jacob.
Hey, Emma. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Great presentation, by the way. I really
Okay,
appreciated it. It's going to make me think more about the metadata I have in my images.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, should I present now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, good to be with all y'all. So today we're going to learn just about how to get started with web development. And we're going to take things slower than before. I know last time I had rushed through a lot. This time I'm going to go at a slower pace so that we can all take notes, think about what's happening, follow along, and then hopefully you'll be in a better position to do this yourself whenever you're out programming your own web server. So I'll start by sharing my screen. Dun, 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 dun. Okie dokes. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. This. All right. So we're just going to start with go to the terminal. And when you get to the terminal, cd into wherever you want to create your application. So this is where I put my code. And I'm just going to do bunx run create dash t3 dash app. So bunx run create T3 app. And this is going to just get a boilerplate prepared for us of everything that we're going to need for just the getting started part of our application. Okay, hang on. Sorry. I actually have some problem. I don't know what the problem is actually. Okay, we'll do it over here. So we're going to create a T3 app. I'm so sorry. That's it. I forgot to put the latest tag. So bunx create T3 app at latest. I was doing run, and you're not supposed to do run. You're just supposed to do bunx and then the word create T3 app. So sorry for that terrible introduction. Let's make a web server, and we're just going to let's make it a blogging website. So I'll just call it the blog. And we'll use TypeScript for, TypeScript is, you can choose multiple languages. You can choose to use TypeScript and JavaScript at the same time. But if you choose JavaScript, you have to do some extra work to add TypeScript. So we're going to stick with TypeScript. For Tailwind CSS, this is the option to use a more concise form of styling. Sometimes in web development, they have what's called CSS, cascading style sheets. But in most cases, it's faster if you can just work from a single file. And unless you're getting into the minutia of the styling, Tailwind CSS is going to make things faster for you. gRPC is the option to have to be able to call functions from the client and call those functions on the server without having to manually encode your data into a string and then de-encode it back into the data type that it was on the server side. So tRPC is going to save us some time as well, make things simpler. And we have the option of adding an authentication provider. I'll choose Nextauth. You don't have to, and there are other authentication providers as well, but Nextauth just has like a lot of convenient functions and a lot of convenient endpoints that it provides. An ORM is called an object relationship mapper, and it basically is like a way for the database to connect to your code. So if your code is trying to store, like let's say store all the users or store all the blog posts, then it needs to store that somewhere that survives when the database shuts down and starts back up again. And there's many ways you can store data. You can put it in a file, but if you have a multi-server system and they don't all have access to the same hard drive, then that's going to be a problem. How are you going to store data in a way that's shared by all of your servers? And that's what a database is for. Databases make the data available to anyone that connects to it, and that can be all of your servers. And then there's two different ORMs that the T3 stack provides a template for. Prisma is a little older, but it comes with useful features for GraphQL. Drizzle is newer. It's a lot faster than Prisma, so I use Drizzle. And then the app router and the page router are two different ways that you can set up your server so that whenever the person puts in the URL in their web browser, then it goes to that URL. And this can take place either by preparing the page on the server, and that's for the app router. If I were to say yes, it would prepare the page on the web server before sending it to the client. But on the other hand, if you say no, it puts more work on the client, but it makes the code possible to run with less work on the server, so you can actually serve more clients. I'm going to choose no because this is actually a more tested way, is using without using the app router. And then there's different database providers you can use. Postgres is a very common database provider. It is a little heavier than MySQL or SQLite, but there are just a lot of extensions that have been developed for it. And so if you plan on making a database that will last a long time, Postgres is probably what you want to use for anything that's self-managed. And whenever you make code, you can store your code in files and folders, yes, but you can also use what's called the Git version control system. to store your files. And so it's asking, should we initialize a Git repository and save changes? And I'll say yes. And then finally, you have to install packages. So whenever you work on a piece of code, any code, not just this web server, but your code is usually going to depend on external libraries. And those are they can be called dependencies, they can be called packages, linked dependencies, statically linked, dynamically linked. Anyway, so whenever you start with a Node project or a TypeScript project, you have to install those dependencies for it to be useful. So I'll run bun install. If you're using another package provider, there's many different ways that you can install things. You can download them from the internet. You can make a custom command in your command line like curl or wget to download them. Or you can use npm or pnpm or bun or one of the other Node package providers. So I'm going to use bun for this. And import alias is just a convenience. Whenever you're importing files, you have to specify the path to the file. You can specify the entire path of the file, or you can just specify the path that's relative to the directory, to the folder that your project is in. So that's what I'm going to do. And you'll see we're going to have a bunch of folders, but the paths will be relative to the top level folder that I have open. And this will make more sense when you see the code. Okay, let's let that run. And while it's doing bun install, I guess I could take some questions. Anyone have questions on what's going on right now? Okay, so bun it's one of the fastest package managers I'm aware of. It's 6 times faster than npm. So what's probably being slow right now is a network more than anything, but it's going to get done eventually. And when it gets done, we'll open the folder for the blog. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to open this folder. Oh no, that's the wrong button. Okay, here we go. Open folder. Oh, I see someone has their hand raised. I'm so sorry. Bakizwe? What was sorry.
No, it's fine, Jacob. No, it's fine. It's fine. I should have used my middle name. I saw that you're using Drizzle, and you also use. I don't know whether you're also using Postgres there. Or is it Drizzle? Or I didn't see properly.
Yeah. So this is the difference between a database and a database ORM. The database.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
that's why I'm asking why you chose to use that combination of databases.
So I don't have a particular reason why I chose that combination. I chose Postgres because it's there's a lot of blogs on how to manage and how to scale up a Postgres database. Also, the PG Vector++ extension it's really nice for you can basically have your own vector database straight inside your PG database. But I also chose Drizzle because Drizzle is very fast. It's faster than Prisma and TypeORM. And my personal experience with Drizzle has been very good. I've had like one problem with I've had like one of those headbanger problems that lasted multiple days with configuration. But like TypeORM, I've gone crazy for weeks trying to fix TypeORM stuff. So Drizzle's just been a lot less of headaches, a lot more getting stuff done. That's why I chose Drizzle. But I don't really know too much about the particular combination. And if I were to just like go with that,
I understand your personal reasons, but I, as a person that I've never used that kind of a combination, I would want to be using that combination for a reason, because I want to believe that in software engineering, those are just tools. So I would want to know basically that particularly with this application, what are we trying to achieve with those two databases specifically?
Okay. So just distinction here is that a database ORM is not the same as a database. Drizzle is not going to actually store your data for you. It's just going to interface with Postgres. So it's like a wrapper around the database. Anytime your code connects to a database, you're going to have to use an ORM to connect to that database. and that can be a very simple wrapper. I'm sorry, not anytime. Most of the time, your code connects to a database. You're going to have to use an ORM because you're going to have to destructure and restructure objects, and you're going to want the convenience of keeping your database schema in sync with the typing schema of your code base, and the ORMs make it very convenient to do that. Then also ORMs can help with optimization with static queries, and I guess a database can do that too, so never mind about that. The particular combination, see, it is common for people to actually write raw SQL in their code, and I don't see a problem with that. I do think that it's easier to just work in one, do not have to have multiple copies of your schema, and just to have one model of the schema and then reuse that same model everywhere. So if you like change one key, it automatically updates everywhere and generates migrations automatically. That's, to me, that's the killer reason why I use a TypeScript-based ORM, is because then my front end, my back end, and my database typings can all be in sync with each other. You don't get that advantage whenever you're using Python backend, TypeScript front end, and SQL, raw SQL schemas. And then just, so Drizzle can be used with SQLite, Drizzle can be used with MySQL, PlanetScale, and so can Prisma, and the ORM can be used with any backend. ORMs can be used with many different backend database providers. It's just that I just chose that combination because of convenience. I don't know too much about the performance trade-offs. I think if you want extreme performance, go with PlanetScale. PlanetScale is a fully managed cloud and distributed database provider, but you're not going to be able to self-host, not that I'm aware of with PlanetScale. With Postgres, you can self-host, and you can also configure sharding and read replicas and failover policies. So that's why I really love Postgres. And then it's been in the use for, I don't know, a decade and a half, I think. I'm not positive, but Postgres has been used a long time. So it has a lot of tutorials and blogs and documentation.
Yeah, thanks. I was actually trying to weigh in terms of using a NoSQL or using a MySQL database. So I think like I have a tech friend that suggested that I use Postgres, and I was just trying to weigh the pros and cons of things. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and I haven't really thought too much about NoSQL. I like the thought that NoSQL is going to be faster because you're not going to index a bunch of things. You're just going to have a single index for every schema, usually anyway. I really do like that. The only disadvantage I would say about NoSQL is it's nice that PG will automatically, it already has a schema then you can build a vector DB on top of that. So if you ever wanted to like build a semantic search engine, well, then your columns are already there, and you just have to make a PG vector embedding off of each column. That's just more of a personal thing. I think that people are still figuring out what the ideal AI database should look like, and there are a lot of flashy startups, but I think Postgres is gonna win a lot of market in the end of the day. But NoSQL, yeah, it's faster, and if you're storing very, very, very large data, there's definitely a lot less compute use in NoSQL because there's not going to be a quadratic increase in compute for the number of records you have. So yeah, I think NoSQL is worth looking into. But I just haven't actually looked into it myself, so I couldn't say much about it.
Also, Jacob, when it comes to like Postgres SQL, like, isn't it like really quick to deploy? Because from my experience, like it's used in the penetration testing platform called Metasploit. So, and you usually like you deploy the Postgres SQL before you turn on that platform, and it takes like less than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, most databases are most modern databases are fast. Postgres is actually slower than MySQL. I'm sorry, than SQLite. There's not, there only recently has been in-memory Postgres option. Most of the time you had to launch Postgres separately from your main application. Whereas SQLite, you could do that embedded inside your application, which was very convenient in a lot of cases. So it is faster than an older database, but it has more features and it's slower than some other databases that are new. But the reason that it's used in security testing is because it's used by so many enterprises and businesses, and so that's what they're going to teach you about security on. That's like, for example, my security class. We use Postgres for most of our DB examples, and I think all DBs today, that the standard attack vectors on the traditional SQL databases are, if you're using the right principles, they're no longer an attack vector, but it's just a matter of preparing the statements and following best practices. Did that help answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Oh,
All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Glad it helped. Yeah, and feel free to ask questions. Yeah, I'm happy to share, and I really appreciate you actually bringing my attention to NoSQL. Go ahead.
Muslim did, and then like while you are wanted like research meeting automatically. Well,
Hey, Ibrahim, I'm sorry I can't actually hear you. Your voice is very chopped up.
Okay, maybe.
No, it's his network. Sometimes it does that at times.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
You can,
Well,
you can continue. Maybe he's having a bad internet connection. You can continue.
okay, sure. And just encourage him to type in the chat, and we can answer it later. All right, so we're gonna just get started. And, I just actually chose blog out of just randomly chose it. Do any of y'all have any suggestions on what we should create? A simple SaaS application that we can create? Okay.
No,
Well, we'll just use blogs.
I think you can just continue based on what you had planned, because I think the idea is for us to learn the concepts and.
Sure. Yeah. To be honest, I don't plan for these things. I just want to have fun. So we're doing it together.
Okay, sir.
We're really in this ride.
Maybe you want to create a complex or just a quick application.
Okay. A quick application. All right. So let's just launch what we have first and just see if it even works. This was a template application, so it should work. We're going to do start our database. And we're going to generate a random password. That's going to edit our environment file where all of our variables are stored. And you see that now it's put this password in here. Okay. And I actually had some other stuff already running, so I got to stop that first. Okay. All right, start our database. Okay, so our database has started. Now I can go to, I'm sorry, I need to actually do this thing. I just had to clean up some mess from the code I was working on before. Okay, so we're going to start our database. Now we have a running Postgres instance in the background, and I can actually view it if I go to Bun DB Studio. This is what, oh man, gotta take that out. So here's our variables. I'll just comment this out. Now let's look at the contents of Oh, got to do that too. Okay. Comment that out. Comment that out. And go to server, auth, and comment out the Discord provider as well. All right. Now that should work. Okay. So this is the database. This is the actual place where our data is going to be stored. It's stored in tables, and then each table is going to have columns, and then those columns are going to have values in them. And some of the values will be references to other columns or other rows in, I'm sorry, to other rows in other tables. So we'll just keep this open. Yes, Emma.
I want to speak with the Muslim workers. Sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So maybe I'll just say maybe you can just give us some of it. Maybe immediately Mr. Jacob is done. Maybe I have one or two questions to ask and other things to clarify, sir. So maybe you can
Yeah.
just wait for a little time, sir.
Sorry, say it again.
No, I saw your chat on the charts. It's like you want to go offline.
Yeah, I need to
Like-
like sign off here because it's like almost like 3 a.m. where I am.
Yeah, thank you so
Okay,
much for
sir.
coming. Really appreciate having you.
Sir, so we wanted to plead if you can just give us a little more, like 10 minutes of your time, maybe.
Well, no,
Maybe
that's
guys-
fine. That's okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, because when Mr. Jacob is done, I really have some important questions to ask and also clarity and other things.
Yeah, sure, no
So
problem.
just good. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Jacob, sir, thank you so much. You can continue, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we'll finish soon. So we have a running web app. We have a running web database now. And now we're going to start the web application. So we're going to open a second terminal, and I'm going to type in bun dev, which will start the next server, and then we can visit it here at localhost colon 3000. And so the first time it runs, it has to compile these pages. It's going to take them from their .tsx files and convert them into .html and .js. Okay, so here's the starting page. And it's just very simple. It's a template. Now we're going to take this and we're going to wipe it clean. And then we're going to add a header. We're going to add a list of blog entries. And we're going to make a page for every blog. And we also need to make a table for the blogs as well. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to stop the database. And I'm going to stop the web server for now. So let's start with the table for the database. Go over here to schema. And here's our posts table. We'll need to modify this to add the actual content of the blog. And we need to also add the created, oh, we already have the created by ID. Okay, we're good. Yeah. Okay, so we have this. Then we have our users below. And I'll put the posts down here at the bottom. Okay. And then back down to posts. We're going to make a posts relations object, and then we'll explain what's going on. So what's going on here is we've added a table, the posts table. We've added a content field to it so that you can insert text. And we've also added this relations object, which will define just some convenience configuration of like what table is connected to what other table. This will make it easier for us to query our data. Let's actually look at this before we move on. We'll go back to the database. Here we go. And oh, I forgot to say, we need to do a migration first. So you migrate by doing bun db push. And this is going to take the database schema from our schema file and it'll push updates to the database itself. All right, good to go. So now let's go back to the database and reload. Looky there. So we have our accounts table, our post table, session table, user table, and then a verification token table. The post table is going to be the most important one for our application, post and user. The other ones are going to be already managed for us. Let's go ahead and get into the authentication part. So when a user signs in, they need to be able to put in their password and their username. Here's the users table. You can see that it has the email field. We need to add a password field to this. So let's go ahead and add that. I'm going to do, this is a bad security practice, but I'm just going to do this for simplicity so you understand what's going on, and then we can add more complex stuff later. And then we're going to make a password credential provider. And so it's going to take in a password. It's going to do that. And it kind of does what you think it does. It just checks that you're the person you say you are and logs you in. And I think we need to fix something here. I'm not sure. There we go. Yeah. Okay. And then we need to type this because it's TypeScript. It wants you to explain what type of data is coming in and leaving. Okay, that's good. And then we need to cast this to a provider object and unsafe assignment of provider to variable of type provider. Password does not exist on. Okay. So it wants us to do this. No, that's not it. Okay. This is a nice thing about Cursor is you can actually use the AI fix in chat to help it understand what's going on. One thing is I actually forgot to import the provider variable. So let's import that from NextAuth and import. Oh, this was the problem. I didn't import this. Got to import. Oh, I didn't import that at all. Okay. There we go. Credentials. So this is going to define a authentication system where you can input your username and password, and then it will return either the user object or a null value if there is no user that corresponds to the object that was found. And I'm going to actually do this. We're going to return the results from the database, and then we're going to check to see if there are any results. And if there is a result, then we'll make that result the user object. And besides that, anything else here? We need to import this equals operator. Maybe we already did. Yeah, no definition found. Okay, so equals, which is actually a disadvantage of not writing raw SQL code, is because you're not going to have that problem. And we're not going to compare username. We're actually going to compare email. So change that to that, and then change that to that. And I think we're almost done. Okay. Okay, good. So this is basically what we had before. It's just adding the possibility that there could be nothing passed in, which is just required for whatever reason. We're good to go. Okay, so now we should be able to sign in with our username or with our email and our password. Next step is, I think that should work fine. Okay. Yeah, next step is we're going to actually update the user interface. And this is where we're really just going to let cursor just take over. Let me first open up the composer window. And I'm going to tell it, this is a blog website. Please make the homepage show a list of all the blogs and also make an additional page for viewing each blog in full screen. And we're also going to give it insight on what the blog looks like. So that way it knows what to query for. We're going to show it the schema file. I use the @ sign to refer to a file. And we're also going to give it a little bit of understanding on what the code base looks like. So I'm going to go to my terminal here, and I'm going to generate a file tree of everything that we have. Tree dot. And then you have to do a -I to exclude a folder that you don't want to include in the file tree, which we're going to exclude the node modules folder because that contains just a bunch of dependencies that aren't useful for our purposes. So I'll take this, I'll add it to the composer. So now the AI is going to it will know what the code base looks like. And we're also going to give it access to the routers folder because we need a way for it to be able to communicate with the server. And that's the responsibility of the routers. And now we should be good to go. Oh, we'll also say you might need to make a router for the blogs. Oh, and one more thing, we call them posts, but that's what a blog is. So it's going to get started, and we'll just watch what happens. So it's going to start by updating the schema. Yeah, well, we already had that. I'm not sure what you added here. Okay, I don't see any difference actually. Oh, it added that. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that's all it added. Okay, over here, it created it updated the post router to include a function to modify the post create function, and it adds the content to the new post that it creates. It also added a function for getting all the posts, and it added one for getting a post by a particular ID. It also modified the homepage to, instead of just being the default homepage like the Create T3 app, it says it's a blog website, a simple blog website, and yada yada. Just everything that you'd expect a blog website to have. It lists all of the blogs. And what do we have over here? This is how you view a single blog. So in the path, you'll see that it's pages/post/ID. And in the URL bar, it's going to show up as localhost:3000/post/ and then whatever the ID of the post is. So these square brackets are going to get filled in by the actual ID of the post. Here's what the post page looks like. It's just going to, as soon as the page starts, it's going to load. It's going to get the ID from its URL, and then it's going to query the router what the contents of that post should be. And once it receives the contents of the posts, then it's going to fill the page with those contents over. Here we go, right over here. So this is actually the main body of the post where it has all the content. And I think we're good to accept this. So we'll go back to the Composer tab, accept all. And it also says you'll need to implement a form and use the create mutation in the post router. So this is for actually creating blog posts. We need to do a couple things for that to actually work, but let's just go ahead and view what we have. We'll need to update the database again. And actually, we don't need to update the database. It already was fine the first time. But we need to start the server and then visit the homepage. Let's see what we have to see. So localhost:3000. Compiling again. And this is a cold start, but it won't always be a cold start every time. Okay, so we had an error. It says auth showcase is not defined. The issue here is that the AI didn't completely replace everything. So we'll actually have to go back and manually fix that. We'll do that real quick. I'm going to go to the main page and not there, index.tsx. Here we go. So I'm going to the main page and see at the bottom this like strangling tag. I think the AI it just forgot about that or something. I think it should work now. Okay, great. So it doesn't have any posts to load, but it loaded them correctly, because if they had loaded, they would have appeared, and there's no errors in the console. That's all a good sign. So let's go ahead and actually add some posts manually. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to add a record. Let's give it an ID of, okay, I'll give the default ID. The name, we'll call it first post. Created by, we don't have any people to create yet. Created at default, which is current date. Updated at default, which is also the current. Never mind, yeah, I'll let do null. And then the content is going to be, this is a sample blog. Okay, let's save one change. Oh yeah, okay, we have to create a user for this to work. So here's the problem. You have to have someone that creates a blog post. You can't just have a blog post with no creator. And that's why it's throwing an error when I try to insert this blog post. To fix that, we're going to have to manually create a user. We can do that by just opening a new tab. Hopefully we can do that by opening a new tab. Let's see. Maybe not. Okay. Make a new user. Let's give him a name. Call him test. Test@example.com. We'll make him yes email verified. Oh wait, that's the time that's supposed to be the date that the email was verified on. And I think we're good to go. Save one change. Good. Now we can go over here and we can have created by, we can connect it to, oh, I guess you have to refresh it for it to work. So we're going to have to discard it no matter what. Okay. We'll discard that. Retry. I had to do this because whenever you select the person that creates the post, that wasn't, oh, it still isn't an option. Never mind. Okay. Well, let's go here. And this is the ID of the user. So the test user's ID is this long collection of, it's called a GUID. And this is what we're going to use, or it's called a UID. And this is what we're going to use to identify the user. And so we can now go to posts. We'll put that GUID in the created by field. So this is going to link him to that user. This will be the first post. And this is a test post. Okay, let's see if this works. Awesome. So see, we have created by, you can click on that and it will show you the user that it's linked up to. Now we can refresh this page and there we go. This is a test post. And if we click on that, it should load that in a new page. Awesome. Isn't this great? We have our simple blog. It only took us just a bit to create that. Before we go on, does anyone have questions? Emma.
Sir, can you hear me, sir? Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello? Let some people in. Some people want to join the group. The
Okay,
call,
yeah, I
but-
just let someone in. I forgot. I already forgot who it was, but I hit the admit button. And I'm sorry, yeah.
Thanks so
I
much,
said
sir.
real quick. Yeah. Okay.
Then continue.
So now we have our blog. It's just very basic stuff. We're going to fix the formatting a bit before we move on. So let's just go here. I'm going to add all the pages that I care about to the blog. So I care about the detail view for the blog and then the full view for the blogs. I'm going to say, oh, let's also add the styling. So style. There we go. So please make this into, let's make it a 3D blog. That's a little bit too complex. Let's make it a colorful blog. Let's make it into a classy 2000s colorful blog. Okay, and the nice thing is because we have our web server running in the background, it will automatically refresh our page with the contents that the AI has generated as soon as the file gets saved. So it updated the CSS, it's updating the home page, and it's also updating the individual post page. Oh yeah, got to do that. Yeah, we got to do this. Okay, this looks fun. Okay. No, we got an error. Okay. I'll have to showcase this on the file. Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah. Okay. Let's go here. We have to delete that again. This is the problem with the cursor is it sometimes it forgets about things that you already did for it. And we can delete that too. I think we can. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. That's amazing. I love this. This is I'm so happy about this blog. We should probably make this into like this should be the official Tech Family blog. Oh my goodness, this is incredible. This is so cool. Okay, I have not played with color in a long time. So let's give it some animations. Make the background. I'm actually going to make a new composer. Okay, yeah. So make the background continuously animate from a combination of blurred circles of different colors in some chaotic behavior. And let's add the pages that will be affected, this page and that page. Also, again, I'm going to add the style files just so that it knows what to be based on. And I'm also going to tell it that you might extract your animation, your particle system into a separate file. So what I'm asking it to do is I thought it would be cool if it had like just blurred circles that just like moved around on the background. And I wanted to have like lots of them. So like it's called a particle system when you have a lot of small circles or other small things that are interacting with each other. And oh man, yes, this is great. Yeah, so let's see if this works. Oh yeah. Yes. Oh my
Wow,
goodness. This
it's
is
amazing.
fun. Yes, this is great. Okay. Okay, we need to have we need to add a rad levels setting in the header. Also, we need a header. The rad levels setting should increase the amount of craziness happening on the page, foreground or background. Okay, I think this is good. And once we do this, then we'll get back to the actual serious part. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. Come on, you can do this. You can do this. Yeah. Okay. That's good. So good. This is awesome. We need to do one more thing. We need to actually make the vibes slow down whenever your mouse is on top of it, because you can't actually be reading this if it's constantly vibrating. So let's ask it to do that. Um, Okay. Oh, went crazy on me. Saying totally, dude. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. Sorry, this is just fun. And that's the thing. Used to be programming in the past, you had to actually like understand what functions, like the particular minutia of what it meant and all the variable typings. It still is useful to understand all that, but now you can also go a long way just by talking to the AI models. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, so it slows down.
These
I'm not,
features are really great.
yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so the mouse, does it slow down on that? Actually, it does not. Yeah. Let's change color though. Let's see if the colors do anything. Oh, nice. Very nice. Okay. So I want to actually add the rounded corners back, and I also want to make the vibrations to add rotation vibrations again. Is there anything else we can do crazy here? Oh, let's make the header a blurred top docked, but not touching the top of the page panel. And yeah, that should be that. Okay. Okay, what do we have now? Okay, the rounded edges came back. Yeah, this is good. I think it would help to actually decrease some of the, yeah, we're just gonna make it, yeah, okay, so we need to make it, make the header translucent and blurred and have a soft outline and make the shaking panel shake less. The closer my mouse gets, use a Quartic fall-off and completely stop shaking when my mouse is on top of it. Okay, yeah. And yeah, we're gonna do that. And then I think we're gonna add like a login part where you can log in and you can write posts. Well, that part didn't work. I'm gonna go ahead and just move on just to avoid wasting too much time on, because it's so easy to get sucked into like wanting to make things perfect. I'm just gonna tell it to turn off the, just to disable the vibrations for now. And make the header have the same level of translucency as the main content panel as well. We're also going to let's go ahead and add the sign in and sign up pages. And update the header for that. And what else do you need? You need also we're going to need email verify. And what else do we need? Forgot password. And any other things? Probably an about page would be good. We'll add that later though. We'll do that. We'll add that now. Yeah, no, we'll do that later. Okay, just gonna go sorry, because sometimes it will get cut off, and if it gets cut off, it's better to not get cut off in the middle of a file. So we'll just keep this request medium sized instead of having to go super large. Okay. All right. We're going to have it to do that because it says you'll need to implement the corresponding API routes. So we're just going to copy that and tell it the exact same thing. Tell it. Okay. Yep. So earlier you saw the Nextauth file where we had the credentials provider. And apparently that's actually, it got renamed to just regular credentials. Not a problem. Other than this, we got to fix that. Okay. I'm just looking at the changes it made here. And so I found that the front end code, a lot of times you can just trust that it will write front end code okay. Back end code less so, because there's just a lot of differences that can happen in the back end. Okay, so I'm gonna have to recheck that because we already had a working system beforehand. I'll keep that. I will add that though. And yeah, that doesn't need to change. That doesn't need to change either. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't need to change either. And that doesn't need to change either. Okay, I think we're good here. Just see if there's anything else. Yeah, okay, that's. Okay, just gonna cancel that. All right, we're good. Okay, and then let's double check the other files it modified. It updated the server API route to include a new auth router. So it added this router over here to the list of routers that could be chosen. And if we go to the auth router page, here's what it created, which this looks okay. Yeah, this looks normal. No, actually, this is bad. Yeah, I want to tell everything I did is bad. Hey, we're actually, yeah, we're going to reject all of this. Okay, I'll save that. I will keep the email file because this is actually a useful thing. Yeah. Okay, I'll keep that. It did update the environment to, actually, it just wrote a new environment file, so I'm going to cancel that. And yeah, that's one thing about when the composer goes wrong, it can take a lot of time to undo what it does. Okay, but otherwise we're good. We're back to where we started. Now let's actually try and do it the right way. So I'm going to tell it, hey, we're actually using Drizzle ORM, and the credentials stuff is already handled. The auth file. I've added some extra context. Please try again. And let's go ahead and just add all the files just for convenience. It'll have access to all of them. Okay, and then we'll also give it a view of what the file tree looks like. Add that to the composer and start. Okay. Yeah, we didn't need to change that though. Maybe we did, I'm not sure. Okay. So one thing it changed here is it changed the adapter settings, which is like telling the authorization system or the authentication system how to connect to the database. It now has a red squiggly line over the user's object, so that means there's some error here. We'll come back to that, but I want to see if any of the other files had problems. Okay, added that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yep. Good. Good. Okay. We'll accept everything else. I'll close this and let's look into this problem here. So users did not exist in the type default Postgres schema. Okay. Let's see if users table does. Yeah. So actually we had to use those custom names. Okay. That's good. And I think we should be able to sign in now. Let's see if that's a possibility now. Yeah, here's sign in. Okay. And this is our test user. Well, actually, this is our test user here, test@example.com, and we never gave it a password. So it's not going to be able to sign in, actually. But I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see what happens. Test@example.com, sign in. All right. It did something, but it got rejected because it didn't match any of the providers, the credential providers. So let's go to users. Let's see if there's a password field here. There is not a password field here. Okay. In that case, we will need to create one. It might have gotten, maybe it didn't get migrated yet. I'm not sure. So let's just go ahead and close all these files to speed things up on my computer. And now let's go to the schema. Okay, so maybe we didn't maybe this hasn't been pushed to the schema, but in either case, this is really the bad way to do things. You should never store your password directly in the database. Instead, you want to store a encrypted form of your password called the hashed password. So there we go. And then in the auth, we're gonna modify things a bit. Whenever we query the password, instead of querying the password, we're going to query the hashed password. And I'm just going to ask the composer to do that for us because it's simpler that way. Please update our auth to hash the password instead of clear text. And here's the schema where the user is defined. And then also tell it, well, yeah, go ahead. Okay. Let's let it do its thing. So it might make a change. What's going to change here? Okay. I think we already had that. But if you think that we should add something, then okay, good. And this is where the actual cryptographic comparison is happening. So it's taking the password that the user provided, which is the actual password, just the plain text password, and then it's going to hash that and then compare it against the hashed password. But you can't directly reverse a hashed password, so you can't actually recover the user's original password. This keeps things a little more secure than just directly hashing or directly storing the user's password in plain text form. And is there anything else that it added to this file? Yes, it did. It added the compare, added the hash function. And so whenever we sign up a user, it's going to go through this hash function to get hashed. Let's accept all, and then we're going to need to install the bcrypt dependency, which it tells us how to do that here. So we can actually run that just by copying and pasting. Awesome. And while that's running, we also want to create a user's router so that we can sign up and do the forgot password stuff. So let's do the users. I'll call it auth actually. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We'll have it implement this. Okay, so it added a reset token to the user object. This is useful whenever you forget your password. It will give you an email that tells you, here's the 5-letter code to reset your password, or the 6-letter code or something. And you have to store that somewhere, and you have to connect it to the user object. So they just store it. The AI decided I'm going to store it directly on the users table, and that works fine. Let's also see other changes it suggested. It suggested we add an email we add a generic send email function so that we can send an email for resetting the password. Okay, it doesn't know that that's actually working. It added the auth router to our API. This is like the route that everything has to connect to for it to get called in the server. Anything else? It created the auth file. So this is the important part we'll be calling from the client. We'll be calling the signup function, the forgot password function, and the reset password functions whenever we need to do those things. And I think that's all. Yeah, that's all. Okay, so we've changed the database schema, but our user object does not have that does not have those new columns in it. So to get it to work, we're going to have to do what's called a migration. And in Drizzle, it also has the ability to do some kind of pseudo migration that they call a push. So we'll do bun db push, and it's going to read the changes and then send them to the database. Good. Now, if we were to reload this, we're going to see there's 3 additional fields: hash, password, and then the 2 verification tokens. And there we go. The reset token expiration, and the hashed password. Okay, so this is good so far, and this page might work, it might not work. Let's just see if it works. We might still need to modify some things. Okay, it looks okay. Let's sign up. See if this works. Okay. Yep. I'll just do Jacob FV. Good. Okay. So there was an error while we were signing up. Okay. So somehow it tried to serialize an HTML object. I don't understand exactly what happened, but I'm just going to copy this, copy the entire object, and yeah, that's actually really strange. Huh. That's crazy. Let's look at the database real quick to see if anything got created in there. Okay, nothing got created. Okay, so if we go over here, we can see our server logs, and oh, great. So here we know, here's where the error is happening. Create caller factory is not defined. This has been a bug in the Next.js T3 template for a bit, and we're just going to have to fix this by hand. Where'd that go? This disappeared. There used to be contents in this file. I don't know what happened to them. Okay, we'll undo that. Here we go. I'm just going to fix do a little housekeeping, and like I don't like seeing the red squigglies because it means that my typing my linting system is like telling me that there's an error. There's not really an error, but it just thinks there is. And so in the Zschema system of things, you have to put a dot strict on top of any of your Zschema calls to make it work. And then we also are going to we got to import Zod. Okay. Okay. Hopefully that works now. And we'll do the same thing with this. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll just leave that for now. And I think I think I just forgot to save. That's probably what happened. Yeah. But anyway, we can fix that later. Yeah, it's kind of a little disappointing that I forgot to save. Okay, so the API router is here. And this is where we're getting the, oh, not there. Okay. While I'm in the email file, I'm going to delete this function. No, you know what? I just never saved. That's what it was. I never saved. Okay, got to so the last action I did, I just never saved this. Gonna have to do it all over. But this is what we wanted. This was the router for the auth provider. So I'm just going to reapply that file. It's going to create the file, add all the contents to it, except any other files like that. Yeah, here we go. The root file, add the auth router, check. And the email file, I don't want this function here. I'm actually going to reject that. And I'm going to tell it to look at the new email file and update the code base accordingly. Because previously it was making had a function just like a general purpose function for sending email of any kind, but we already have a special function here for sending the password reset email. So we don't need to have a generic email function because we already have a very specific one, and it seems to be complete. So let's just ask it to look at this and update the code accordingly for the email reset logic, which is over here. And I think that's good. I think that's good. Yeah, okay. Let's double check that. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So it's going to change this to update the user with the reset password token. And then it's going to call the send verification email function instead of directly calling a send email function. And yeah, so it just changes that. Okay, so now we can, yeah. Okay, so now we can accept all. And let's go ahead and get our node mailer credentials and fill them in. I think we can go ahead and test this actually right now. We'll push migrations. So db push. And I guess nothing changed. Now let's go back to the sign up page. Going to clear the log. Ooh. Yeah, okay. Need to install node mailer. Let's ask it to do that. So Command K, and just going to ask it, please install node mailer. Good. And as soon as that gets installed, the home page should refresh, and it's going to have the original content. There we go. Oh, new error. Okay, yeah. So it needs the variable for the node mailer variables. Let's go there and let's fill in those variables. So what's happening here is whenever you want to pass variables into your code, but the variables are like either configuration variables or they're sensitive information, a lot of times that gets passed in by means of these environment variables. And when you send email, you have to specify, like if you're going to be a mailing client on behalf of an email server, you have to specify the host, the port, the username, password, and the reply to address or the send from address. So I'm going to do, I wonder if I can get some example credentials. But if I didn't, like, let's say I didn't have any example credentials, I could actually put my actual Gmail password and the actual Gmail username here. And as long as I didn't show this file, they would be secure. That's how it's handled in some production scenarios. Let's see if we can get some free node mailer email password though. Okay, yeah, we'll do create test account. So I'll just comment that. Actually, you can say there, but I'm going to go to email, and I'm just going to ask it to let's create a test account and use those and override the environment with those. Yeah, okay. And so this was the old transporter. Now we have a new transporter, which is this object here. And so now we're going to pass that into this object over here, and it's going to now use our automatically parameterized transporter. And since we're in development mode, it's going to automatically generate one for us using the test account, username and password. Okay, that's good. And then some of the errors here are caused by not typing our environment correctly. We can fix that by making sure that the client is in sync. Server for user password from. Oh, yeah, server and host. Those are different. Wait, never mind. Never mind. Okay, let's just ask the AI what was there was an issue here. Okay. Okay, we need to specify the types. That's what we need to do. I actually don't know for sure. I think that's what we need to do. We'll see if that helps. Let's see. That's a string. That's an email. That might be the problem, is using the .email. Let's see what happens if I do this. Or just this. Okay, I guess I'm not going to spend too much time here. I'll go ahead and just leave the environment as it is, and then force cast it on this side. So we're just going to force it to be as a string. And it will, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it can just stay as unsafe member access. Yeah. Okay, so that's good. Then we'll also cast this. Yeah. Gotta import that. Okay, hopefully that helps a bit. Anyway, okay. From good, good. Good. Is that good? Gotta fix it. Yes, no. Okay, we're just gonna ignore errors there. Yeah, the problem is we don't have typing for Node Miller. Let's see if we can add that. Oh, wow, that works. Okay, that might actually fix all our problems. Let's see if this does. No. Anyway, we'll go on. Let's check the sign-in page. Sign-up page. Okay, failed to compile. The get all posts object is having an error. So we're going to go back to our posts router. And it's saying that it's having an error getting all the posts. Let me just break it out. Yeah, okay, that's better with that. No, it's not. Okay. I'm gonna try changing the next auth configuration. I think the problem was whenever I installed the Node library, but you know what I'm realizing? It's about 15 minutes till we're over. So why don't we just we'll put a pause here. I'll work more on this. We can talk about it in our next meeting, or we can do something else next meeting, and we can talk about any questions you have before the end of this meeting. Oh, my YouTube. Let me put that in there. Yeah. I think that's my YouTube. Let me double check that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miss-
So that's my YouTube channel. Feel free to follow me there. I don't really use it that much, but I do use oh, but I will post this video on YouTube. I will do that for sure. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So, sir, you hope to continue in the next seminar?
I should continue? Should I continue, Ema?
Continue, sir. Continue, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So let's fix our next.
Sorry,
config-
Jacob, before you continue, I'm sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome.
Um,
No problem.
I know that guys here had some questions for me. You know, I was supposed to go like 15 minutes ago. I just wanted to see if they still have the questions so they can ask, and you know, I can just get going.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Mr. Jacob, that means you have to pause.
Yeah, no
Like,
problem. Yeah, I think this is a good stopping point. We'll pause here.
okay, so that I'll finish with the Muslim hacker so that you can also give us. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So we're waiting to see if anyone had questions for Freddie.
So now, if any of you have any question, just wave your hands. If you have any question to ask the Muslim hacker before you go, just raise your hand. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
If any of you have any question to ask the Muslim hacker or Mr. Jacob, just wave your hands.
Seems like Ibrahim has some questions.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Hello,
Ibrahim.
everyone.
Hello.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, are you getting me?
Yes, we can
Yes.
hear you.
Okay, like in relation to the cybersecurity, like I want to ask like if the Kali Linux is the most preferable software that we should use, like in relation to any terminal, or is this one Ubuntu also okay to use? So, like in terms of the hacking and the cyber security thing, or like is there any supporting tools to back up the Kali Linux for us to use as beginners?
So, like, when it comes to cybersecurity, there are many tools that are used depending on the branch of cybersecurity that you want to work in. So, for example, if you're working in penetration testing, yes, most of the time you would be dealing with either the Kali Linux or the Parrot OS. Both of them are used for penetration testing, and within them they have pre-installed penetration testing tools. However, if you work on the defense side of things, in that case it gives you a little bit more of a freedom in a way, because you can actually use pretty much anything, to be honest. Like, you could use Windows or you could use Linux. I normally prefer to use Linux just because uh, well, believe it or not, it is actually way easier to use Linux than Windows. I don't know, like, Jacob might agree with me. I hate Windows with a passion. I don't know why, but I do. So, uh, so it is easier to use Linux when it comes to IT stuff.
Okay, so like is there like any document? Is there like sorry, any documentation like you want to share with us, like for a beginners, because like we are on the verge and to get into the cybersecurity
Yeah,
world. So like
if you go in the chat, I actually shared the things for the beginners. So just scroll in the chat and you will see my messages. It starts with Linux, Windows, and networking. If you go to the chat, you will see.
So like because like normally like I had people talking about this dark web and so like what the this dark web is all about.
Dark web.
Yeah, like
I
when they
mean,
are
like,
talking
to
about.
be honest, I feel like dark web is a little bit over exaggerated. I mean, no doubt it is used for really bad activities, like for selling drugs, for selling a lot of bad stuff. But to be honest with you, like when it comes to the YouTube videos about dark web, they're definitely a bit over exaggerated. I have personally never been on dark web, and I definitely would not recommend anyone going on dark web. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, one last one. Like I don't know, like maybe like for cyber security or ethical hacking, maybe there is a browser that you normally use aside Chrome's. Like is there because like you know that most of these browsers like have some kind of extension that are not available in Chrome. So like is there any hidden browsers that you guys use that you want to share with us?
To be honest, like I just use Google Chrome. I'm not gonna lie. Like people, like some other security professionals might say that I'm probably doing a bad job by using the Google Chrome, but to be honest, like I'm the kind of guy that prefers co- comfort. Like I mean, that's the same reason why I use a Mac instead of like, using other software for a daily basis. To be honest with you, like don't get me wrong, like I enjoy cybersecurity, but like I don't make it my whole personality where like I use it for everything, you know what I mean? So I use Google Chrome. I mean, it's easy to use and everything, but there are definitely like browsers that are way safer than Google Chrome.
Because like I heard about this one that is called Brave browser and Tor browser. Are those ones safe to use, or should we continue using the Google Chrome
When it
for?
comes to Tor, yeah, when it comes to Tor browser, I'm not gonna lie to you, like there's actually a good quote that I heard. Whoever is in control, because a Tor browser is like just interconnection of computers, right? Of multiple people hosting specific servers, right? So like whoever is in control of the endpoint of those connections is in control of your data. So what is the point of using the Tor browser? I mean, you could definitely use it, but to be honest with you, just stick to normal things, like stick to Chrome, Google Chrome. I mean, until you get like more advanced. I mean, I'm definitely not advanced, so I don't even use Tor browsing myself. But I mean, just stick to Google Chrome, it is safe. It is, I mean, all the security is already built in. I mean, if you want something that is like not invasive, you could use like DuckDuckGo. That is a good one as well. But definitely like the vast majority of information is on Google. So
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, we love to have you back some other time.
Yeah, God willing, I would love to come back and share more information with you guys.
Okay, okay, sir. Someone asked, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Someone asked that if you can actually give the roadmap to cybersecurity.
A roadmap to cybersecurity.
Yes.
I can,
like
I
like this generation, what many people are actually aware all about, especially the branch that actually aware about is pen testing. So now, which branch of cybersecurity do you think that is more lucrative that a new beginner can easily get a job or can easily escape through?
I mean, to be honest with you, like there is a lot of things that go into that. Like, for example, like, your age, your ability to learn and how quickly you can learn, and there are other things, to be honest. Like, it all comes down to the individual person. It's not like a playbook that everybody can use, right? But definitely, like I mentioned in the beginning, there are way more defensive jobs than there are offensive jobs, like penetration testing. So I definitely would recommend like going into the defense side of things first. However, when it comes to like roadmaps, I think a better person than me to tell you guys about roadmaps is Unix guy. If you go on YouTube and type in Unix guy, he already has all the roadmaps just explain them mapped out for you guys. For anyone who wants to go into, let's say, the defensive side of things or penetration testing, he already has the roadmap mapped out, and he does it in a way where it doesn't break the bank. Like, it is really cheap, and it actually somewhat it helps you get a job, God willing, in cybersecurity.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So my major question is that this semester is all about coding, AI, and cybersecurity. So my question is for you and Mr. Jack. So now with the advancement of AI, how will it shape the landscape of cybersecurity and also coding? Because
So I just wanted to let you know that this meeting it's scheduled to automatically cut off in 2 minutes. So we'll just have to speed through the conclusions.
Yeah, go ahead, Jacob. You can take this one, inshallah.
Oh, I'm actually not into cybersecurity that much. I think you'd be better at this one.
Oh, because he
Or
said
Mr.
coding as well.
Unix.
So no, that's fine. Okay. In that case, so when it comes to cybersecurity, with the advancement of AI, like I said, we're going to have better protection. We're going to have more advanced protection. And I'm already actually using AI in helping me create detection rules for different threats, right? So let's say, I know a threat in my company, right? And I want to make the rule really quickly. So I ask the AI to create the rule for me, and then I can actually modify it to fit my company's needs and my company's norms, right? And so that way, it actually makes it quicker for workers to do their job as well. So that's just kind of like the short answer to your question.
okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
believe there's no other question. So we are playing now. I wish you maybe you can join the tech family so that you can easily guide us and actually we can easily have access to you.
Yeah, I mean, God willing, you have my connection, you have my Discord, so we can chat on there more, and we'll see what we do.
Okay, sir. So Mr. Jacob, over to you. Say just have 2 minutes to cut off. So I
Okay.
believe
Yeah, it looks like it didn't cut off. I thought it would, but we're good. Yeah, so coding's going to get basically most people are going to get automated. And that's why it's important to learn not how to code, but learn how to use these coding tools. Cursor especially is a great tool. It's available to anyone who has internet. And as long as Cloudflare security doesn't flag your provider. So if that does happen, try to find a different internet provider. And yeah, I would definitely recommend just jumping into Cursor and spending as much time as you can with it. And there's going to be more software than ever that's built in the future. So yeah. Thanks everyone for coming, and feel free to ask questions as well.
Okay. Thanks everyone for coming. So is there any other question, anybody, or anything that you're not clear about that you want to clarify before we go off? Hello.
I just wanted to know when will be when the record session will be available, like to the group, because like I missed some parts of Mr. Jacob. I was logged out automatically out of the meeting. So like I don't know like if we are going to have the record session by tomorrow morning or just after the meeting.
Jacob,
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you say that
he
again?
was asking like when is the recorded session gonna be available on YouTube
Oh,
for him to watch?
yeah,
Because
probably
he missed some of your parts.
probably tonight or tomorrow. When basically it takes sometimes it happens overnight. But I'll get like an email that says your recording is available for download. And when I see that, then I'll download it and I'll upload it to YouTube. So very likely within a day.
Okay, sir. Thanks so much, sir. Thanks so much, Mr. Jacob. Thanks so much, the Muslim Hacker. And also the Muslim Hacker, I want to play with you sometime. At least I wish you can able to tell more people in cybersecurity so that also they can also have maybe they can also come to speak with the tech families also.
Yeah, God willing, I'm always, willing to help out and, give more speeches. And, I just want to preface this with like, I'm by no means an expert in cybersecurity. I'm a learner, just like every one of you. And I'm always happy to share my knowledge with you guys as well, and as well as learn from you guys too.
Okay. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, sir. Mr. Jacob, thank you. So everybody, thank you for joining. See you guys next time we'll meet. Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.